We're about 3 weeks away from having tree swallows back up here in northern Maine. I'm finishing up a few more nest boxes for them. These are from the plans on the Cornell Lab of Ornithology website Nest Watch. I'll go through assembling this third one for the night and talk about some of the design features that I like, which is all of them. And I've been using these for about 7 years. I like the design. I've had hundreds of birds fledge out of them over that time. I think I've built around 500 total. The only changes I've made, really, are I like to have an extender on here made of hardwood. We have squirrels that try to chew their way in there. That slows them down, prolongs the life of that box before I have to replace this piece. And I use this bigger roof piece out of 8-inch material here. Does it help? I don't know. It helps me feel I've done everything I can to keep our sideways rain from going in there. So we're going to go through slowly here. The plans I'm sure I'll link somewhere in the video if we end up posting this. And this is just 9-inch sides and front, 14-inch back, floor to fit, and roof piece likewise. So I just go ahead and pick the prettiest one to be the front, might as well. And what we're doing first here is lining up so that this gap is just about a 1/4 inch. I don't mind that overhang, it just lets me know which side is the door when I'm walking up to one. And then we're going to go ahead and pre-drill. So I'm lining that up. That's going to be the hinge. We'll hear a nail used for the hinge. I like to use screws for everything, and I find they pivot just fine. So pivot nail, pivot screw, then back off just a touch so that's not too tight. And then we're going to go ahead and flip that around. I used to clamp all this down. I don't anymore. I just sort of feel with the thumbs here that everything's lined up, and then go ahead and just hold that down. And then, like Grandpa said, not building a piano here. So, once those holes are pre-drilled, we can let go. The screw will find its way down to the hole we've drilled. Good and tight on those. And now for the back. Go ahead and check if there's any knots or anything we have to work our way around. And you'll see I'm a little shorter on this side than this side. That's because the roof piece is going to go here, and I want these to be about equidistant when I'm trying to put a mounting hole in there. So again, pre-drill. Somewhere near the end. This can be nice and tight. And then this one is important. This is the other side of the pivot screw. So we're feeling that's flush there. Press that down. Using my finger to align there. Straight down. Matching exactly where that is on that side. So we have a nice straight pivot on that. Tighten all the way down. Back off just a hair. Make sure that pivots. Yes, it does. Now the roof. So you'll see I've got a knot up here. That's fine. That's overhanging just in the air. No knots or anything that would go through there. And let's see, which way do we want this to go? That's going to want to bend that way. But we haven't had any warping or cupping yet. So we're just going to go ahead with that. If it does warp a little bit, we'll get a natural slope to that roof. Going equidistant here, using the fingers to feel where that is. And then from the back here, we're going to go 1, 2. And that will cinch that up tight to the back. We're going to run a bead of caulk right across the top there to keep that dry. see that move a little bit as that screw pulls that straight. Flip that around. Now feeling and looking to check that we're going in the front piece here, not on the side door. If you screw this in there, that won't turn. So 1 and 2. Try not to countersink too deep on those so we don't make a cup to hold water. Just about right there. Good. Now, see if our pre-cut floor fits. Good, good. It's okay if that's a little bit loose. That's just extra drainage there. Any imperfections? All right, we'll put that side down. And we have to have a little bit of recess here so water can't go wicking up there and work its way in. And we have these sides cut, again, for drainage. We want to make sure those baby birds stay as dry as they can. So we've got a little bit of recess. We're going to start on that side. Just gets everything set in here. And then we go around to the front. And you see how we're a little off center here. That's going to effectively make this into an adjustment screw for the tension on this door, so we can loosen it if it's too tight, tighten it if it's too loose. So watch how that moves. Back and forth, back and forth. So there's an adjustment screw, and likewise from the back. And that'll firm everything up. We could adjust that as well, but that's the side that's going to be mounted into the post, so we can't reach that one once we're installed. So we're just perfectly snug there. We don't want that opening in the wind, but we don't want it so tight that we can't get into it. Now, we've got a front, we've got a side, we need a door latch. So we're going to take, what do we have? Just a 1 5/8 inch nail. 1 5/8 inch nail. Adjustable wrench. So we're just going to grab that like so. Grab the other end like so. Bend that to 90 degrees and plop that down there. And now, this is a handy little thing I got at an antique shop many years ago. Pre-drill the hole. And for about the middle. And now, take a handy block of wood. I'm going to use that to keep that straight as we nail down in. So, a little bit of pressure there, keeping that straight as we go down in. And sometimes, because you're on camera, you mess that up a little bit, it'll get hung up. We'll just call that a feature. And a little extra there. We'll just pretend we meant to do that. And that gives us a little something to hold on to. So now we have the latch, we have the front, we have the sides, we have the roof. Now we're going to get the little piece of hardwood for an extender. This is a piece of yellow birch. Go ahead and clamp that in. This will be an accomplishment if I make it through this whole video without the phone falling out of my pocket. So pre-drill 4 corners. Do this without bending over too much and dropping the phone. This is super high production value. marginally consistent. That's okay. And then use that 3/16. So when I put the screws in there, they just fall through the front piece and bite into the softwood. The softwood, of course, is much softer than the hardwood, and if the teeth are engaging in the hardwood, I have a harder time getting that to really seat down because it doesn't bite in as well there. So I'm just feeling that's about centered. I've not met a tree swallow that gets upset about any part of this being just a touch off center. They get upset about just about everything else. Being too close, being right where you were yesterday, being anywhere in the vicinity. There. So now we've got our extender installed. Take that over to the drill press. And I've got this handy little extension here. So we've done this once or twice. We don't want to just hand hold this. This has got some torque to it. So using a clamp here onto that. And now I'm going to go ahead and line that up. We want around a 3/4 inch gap from here to here. And we've got, of course, missed that. So we're going to go ahead and line that up thereabouts. Clamp that down. Make sure we're still lined up. Hold that just steady. This is not where the main holding force is coming from. That's down here. That up, and you'll find there's a little bit left in there. That was a 1.5 inch Forstner bit in there. Now, to make sure that this edge, when the drill is sharp, can be quite sharp itself. Take a little broken piece of the file and rough that out, just so when the bird lands on that, its little feet don't get cut on that sharp edge. So, what else do we need? We have the front, the door opens up. We're good to go there. We need the holes for mounting. So this is where I will admit I use the metric system. 14 centimeters across, half of that is 7. I can work that out. There's 7 again. Don't want to go too close there or else the washer will run into the top. That'll do. And now the last thing to do is just to go ahead and run a bead of caulk along the roof, so the baby bird's dry. This is where I like to do them as a batch. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Grab the same glove we used last time. And if you're from northern Maine, you know where I got that. Or anywhere in Maine, really. And we're just gonna go ahead and give that a nice speed there. Boom. Boom. Hang that back up. Tidy that up. Not to be rude to anybody. There we go. Get those little bits there. And that should do the trick. Now, the way that I like to mount these things with a 3-inch outdoor screw. Figure out where did I put those washers. A couple of good washers there. Now, when that caulk is fresh, I have to be careful with that. So I just go ahead and screw that in just enough to hold itself in place. Feel I'm not going through, because if I did and I set that down on something nice, that would scratch it. Now, the last one, because this is leaning forward, it won't fall into the caulk. And we'll just go ahead and repeat that 3 times over. And those are 3 more for the cause.